This is for Real Talk. I'm Christy Masters, 20 years in marketing, 4 kids, and a brain full of ideas. I break down what works, share real examples, and connect you to the founders behind them so you can stop overthinking and start building something yourself. All right. Welcome back, friends. You guys are in for a treat today. This is my first official founder episode, and the whole idea here is to connect you to people who are actually out there doing it. The things you're thinking about or maybe don't fully get yet. And I'm starting with someone I've worked with for years, because when I say she's a genius, I mean it. Nicole is a graphic designer, but more than that, she can take what's in my head and make it make sense. And I've worked with a lot of designers, and nobody does it like she does. And I just want to take a minute to say that when we think about founders, not all founders are building products that you can hold. Some founders are building entire businesses off their creative skill set. And that comes with a very different kind of pressure, and Nicole will agree. And that's where Nicole lives. So, welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. That was perfect.
Nicole Dane.
I'm really happy to be here and be your first guest.
I am so excited about this. We've talked about doing a podcast, I think, since we met. Since podcasts were a thing.
To that, like just when they were coming out. This has been a dream of yours for a long time, so it's meaningful to me too.
Oh, well, thanks for being here. All right, so let's start with question 1. How do we know each other?
I don't even know that there's one answer to that question. Right? We're neighbors. We have been coworkers for over, I believe, a decade. I think it's fair to call you a friend at this point as well. Our daughters were BFFs for a long period of time, and we've raised 4 kids together. I feel like we're the only 2 in Cocoa Beach, Florida, with 4 kid families.
I feel like that a lot. I feel like a circus most of the time. People are like, are all those hers?
Not my monkey, definitely my circus.
Yeah. Yeah, we met when we only had 2 kids, and now we have 4 each.
We were pregnant together twice.
Yes.
So how do we know each other? I mean, I don't think we could have avoided each other. We're kind of meant to be.
I feel the same way. So in that line, do you remember how we started working together?
Do I remember how we worked together first? I believe you started designing websites.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still under the impression websites had to be sliced and configured. And you kind of took me under your wing and showed me how simple and time-saving the new way of the world was in regards to launching websites. So we started working together. I would design and organize fonts, colors, branding for the websites you were launching.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and do you remember the first project we worked on?
Please don't. I don't. I don't want to say one that I think it could be.
It was Roland.
Why don't you tell me?
It was BMG. You brought me into BMG because he needed a new website. So that's how we started this whole shebang, I think.
Okay.
I think.
I'm going to trust you on that. That would make sense. He's my longest standing client, so that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was pregnant. I think we were both pregnant at the time with our 3rd together. That's, yeah. And yeah, that was the project.
And I think actually it's coming back to me. I think you're right. He needed to redo his website.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, full circle there.
And just talking about the work that we've done together, why do you think we work well together?
Well, it's going to not be the answer people are expecting, but I think energy is a huge part of it. I think we're both pretty open to teamwork, like to knowing that we can produce a greater product when we put, 2 heads or more together. I think we equally value brainstorming sessions and I don't know if it's the right place to say it, but, like, borderline get a high off of it. Like, we really
I
like
would
that, right?
I
Like, when
would
that
say that
synergy
same thing.
comes together, yeah, and I literally feel like my body just ignite when we start, getting that synergy would be what I'd call it, and I
But
just
it's
love
it's
creating fun
goosebump.
in the field. It is,
Yeah,
it's goosebump
it's
for sure. I mean, how many times have we had tears or goosebumps? I mean, full on body emotions from just some of the how fast our heads are moving, and it's like all of a sudden we're on the same page.
yeah, and
I have goosebumps now
I do
saying
too.
it. Yeah. I
I
love
don't
that, and I think you're always open to that. Like, this is my thought, but I wanna expand it, and I need another vision to bounce that off of and do that, and I've always appreciated that with whoever I'm working with, but you definitely are the most receptive
mm,
to, like, let's build this vision together.
yeah, that's what I would say to you. It's all about energy.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever felt that before in the creative process with anyone else.
and it's the best part.
It is. It's like
It is the
you're
best
it's like getting high. I swear. It's so
part.
good. Um, so briefly, and you don't have to name names here, but out of
Okay.
everything we've worked on,
Yes.
what is one project that you've loved?
Probably our more recent one, which is Riverside.
Oh,
Um,
love that.
I really did feel they trusted us and really extended creative freedom. And you brought in a team of people that, you know, brought it to life after visiting property. I mean, you took the extra steps visiting that property, learning their history,
Mhm.
allowing me to communicate with the owners like firsthand and kind of feel her out and what mattered to her. I felt like that was just, and I'm an emotional person, so I always love a project more when there's not just dollars behind it, but meaning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she had a lot of meaning
Mhm.
invested in that project that
Mhm.
I feel everybody on board just really embraced and wanted to provide, like, back to her something equally meaningful to represent that whole project.
Definitely. Definitely. That was a great project. Still
Yeah.
is. We got some work to
I
do
actually
there.
visited that site recently just to look at the icons. They're
It's
so
so
cute.
pretty. It's so
They're so
cute. They are so cute.
so
I
cute.
just did yeah, they just reached out to me and asked, for another piece of graphics, so you've got some work. So,
Okay,
anywho, we'll
perfect.
keep going.
Good
Yeah.
timing.
So what is a project that we've done, and you don't have to name names here, but what was one that was painful for us? And I'm thinking of one that really taught me a lot about how to manage a project, a creative project, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I'm sure it's the same one, and it's exactly the lesson I learned as well. Honestly, it's although you can engage, with clients and feel that you're making progress in the direction that you've both agreed to. I We designed a logo for a company. We all thought we were on the same page. We all felt we were contributing in a way that was being appreciated and valued. And then summer came, and the the person who had been the decision maker on most of those projects, if I recall, left town for a period of
Mm,
time, vacation or
mhm,
something, and
mhm,
left somebody else in charge.
mhm.
And it was at that time that I feel things began to unravel.
Yes. It was
And
another voice in
everything
the
there, but like
yeah.
you could feel the disconnect happening.
Mhm.
And without it being, our point of contact that we had established so much of that process with, it's like you don't know if you're reading it wrong. You don't know if expectations have changed. You don't know if you're supposed to let that person have the leadership role, like without
And
any
make the
question
decision.
asked,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
or do you override them? And there was a lot of ambiguity on how to continue progressing
Yes.
without stepping on toes. And I felt you and I, particularly, were put in a situation that it was just uncomfortable
Yeah.
and
Super.
it hindered hindered me and my creativity, I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
Um, the joy was stolen. That's what it
Yes.
the joy was stolen,
Yes.
and I felt I wasn't trusted,
Yeah.
and my opinions regarding graphics or suggestions for branding had lost value, and
Mhm.
then it's like you're fighting an uphill battle. That really taught me to identify early on one point of contact for final
Yes.
decisions. Um, of course, like, to let our clients know there is space for feedback from a team, and we value that, just like we were speaking about brainstorming. Like, we certainly welcome
Mhm.
the vision of others,
Mhm.
but it's so imperative that we identify who is going to be the deciding voice for that company or that business to avoid the situation we got ourselves in early on.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
happy to report I've never done that again.
I listen,
Yeah.
we learned so much from that one,
For
you
sure.
know? I think you have to learn the lesson, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's
Um,
more of that in aging, isn't there?
so would you say with that, would you say that is the single most thing that will make a project go sideways for graphic design is
I think it's a sure bet. I don't know that I would say it's the single most, but I think inevitably the project will go sideways. You cannot have two people competing for the same leadership
yeah,
voice in a project like that. Think about, I mean, I could sit here and tell you something complete fashion. I like country western fashion. I like ball gowns. You can like a variety of styles and things, but it's like when it comes to branding, you have to hone in on
yes,
one style.
yes,
And although you can appreciate that there's value in others, you can't mix them all. Like, you have to have one person make those final decisions so that you create brand consistency and that you're communicating through feelings, the aesthetics, the feelings they evoke, that you're communicating what the brand really stands for.
yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yes, you just nailed it. So I want to move on to the next idea here where design isn't a decoration, right? Design isn't, and I think some people, that's kind of how they feel about design. So, in your own words, why is design so critical to businesses, particularly at the beginning of their journey? Like, this
Yeah.
is something I feel like right now people are skipping and, or they're using AI or whatever. But why is this so critical to businesses?
Yeah, with the onset of Canva and the convenience that offers to people, I have seen that myself. Um, and with startup businesses, we all know, like, budgets are limited and you're wearing many hats, especially in the beginning. And the budget is divided more than, an established business would be. Um, but it's definitely not where I would recommend cutting cost.
Mm-mm.
I think that the initial launch of a business is the first impression. And I am a big believer in first impressions do matter. They do matter. Like it or not, they matter. And having professionally branded logo, website, vehicle wraps, business cards, I mean, you name it, they need to be branded well upon launch so that your business is taken seriously. I mean, that's in layman's terms, but, like, I want your business to go out the door with credibility. We are professionals, whatever industry that may be. If it's
Yes.
a riverside resort, or if it's a plumber, or if it's a restaurant and bar, like, either way, you need people to trust you. That's
Yes.
the bottom line. And for people to trust that you care about the details or that
Mm-hmm.
you are a professional, that image is their first impression, and it needs to reflect that you care, that you are taken seriously, that you're not cutting corners. I mean, that's what it comes down to in my mind. And
So
even companies that say they don't want a website right away, like, today's world,
you've
let's
got to
we
have a website.
have
Yeah.
an online presence. Yes, you
Yeah.
absolutely need a website, even if it's just a landing page that says, "Hey, follow us on Instagram and we're doing great things over here." But to be taken seriously in 2026, every business needs a website.
Yeah.
And every business's website needs to coexist with their t-shirts and their logos and their bags and their, I mean, and we can go on, but making that coexist in a variety of formats for digital mediums and print mediums and the different sizes and ratios, and that you, it does take a professional. The art of graphic
Yes.
design is not lost.
So what do you think is a huge mistake you see when it comes to brands and design? You know, I feel like from my point of view, it's usually they don't take it seriously and they whip something out or whatever. And for me, I'm just like, wow, that's super unprofessional. So that's what I would say. But I
Yeah.
don't know, like, you know, what would you say? What would you say is the like
Um,
a huge
I would
mistake or
say
the
the thing
number
that
one?
kind of like makes my skin crawl really is kind of what I've just referenced, but having inconsistency in your branding when they have the logo and they're proud of it. And even if they made it themselves, and then they build their website on GoDaddy or Wix or whatever they're using to save cost. Um, and the colors are different. The orange is a different orange. It's a yellow orange. And on their business card, it's a little bit of a red orange. And then the script font they used in their Word doc to make business cards is different than the script font the web template on Wix suggested.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that just stands out like red flag in design, red flag in business. Like,
Yeah.
I think that it needs to be consistent. And I notice it right away, and I know I'm trained to do so. And subconsciously, I think everybody else notices too. They may not know what, but it just communicates sloppy.
So
And
can you talk you're saying about consistency, but one of the things you do that is so interesting is you build a brand board.
yeah,
And I think a lot of times people start a business or whatever and they're like, I have a logo, you know, everything can come off of that. But just how important is that brand board?
I think it's critical, especially for businesses who don't know design or branding, because they're going to go out and they're likely going to order a variety of collateral materials, whether it be folders or letterhead or whatever it may be, maybe a vehicle magnet starting out. And if they take that to the print shop to get a vehicle magnet and just say, we want you to write our business name and use this icon and put our phone number in big, bold red letters. And then they
Red.
take the same information to a t-shirt shop and say, we want to get these with big bold letters, put our phone number, etc. Same files provided. Those two designers, the designer working up your t-shirt and the designer working up your car magnet, they're going to have a different red and they're going to have a different bold font for your phone number, and they're just not going to coexist. I think those things really matter. I wish more
They,
I wish more people understood that.
well, we're going to
Okay.
jump into why they should pay attention because there is a science and psychology behind color and
Oh yeah,
font
the
and
decisions. Yeah, a graphic designer is not just copy pasting cute things. There is a lot of psychology that goes into it. Even in a website design, I mean, I consider how many lines of copy they're skimming per second as every page I review. So I mean, it goes far beyond just making something look pretty. And that brand board that we were referencing, it ensures that those well thought out colors, if the psychology part is, used to identify that or not, but all of it's well thought out and planned based on the information a client would give us. And those brand boards ensure that when you take it, there will never be a mistake. Your fonts will always be the fonts on anything you produce. Your colors will always be consistently the same colors that we've agreed and approved would be best for your business and clientele. And I just think that should be valued. If you value your business, that should be valued.
so dive deeper. This is so interesting to me. Dive deeper into the color piece.
That was one
You
of my favorite classes in college, actually. And it's funny, despite the many, many years since that college class has been part of my life, I think about it on a pretty regular basis. I
you
mean,
say it a lot. You
I do.
say it a lot.
I find
You
it so interesting. I remember so many of the facts. Like most hospital buildings are painted like a light shade of blue because it has a calming effect, a peaceful effect on our nervous systems. And these people in hospitals, are experiencing grief or loss or pain. I mean, it's never a pleasant experience in most cases. So yeah, there's a lot of psychology with that. Food related psychology. Certain colors will make you hungrier. I mean, just look at fast food and look at all the red and yellow. It's everywhere.
Why
But
does that make you hungrier? Why does red and yellow make you hungry? What
the
is that a
chemicals.
thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real
It
thing.
is?
Yeah.
So if
So
we
and
have
red
a
also so red isn't it's not just that the ketchup factor, but red is a color. I always think this is neat, that intensifies any emotion you're feeling. I mean, think about Valentine's Day, the celebration of love, everything's in red.
oh.
Yeah. And so hunger, red, it
Mm.
intensifies whatever you're feeling. Red actually has a psychological effect to intensify that emotion. Mad. I'm seeing red. I mean, the expression itself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm. So interesting, Nicole. You're so
Thanks.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
fascinating.
it is fascinating, and because these things are speaking to you subconsciously all the time, you just don't real realize it, you know.
100%.
But you know it. But
Yeah. There's
somebody's
so
like,
many things like people will look at something and like it and not know why.
yes,
And it's at a subconscious level. Our environments have an effect on us, and that
yeah.
doesn't stop at branding.
So
So
talk
think
to
about
me.
yourself in a forest or at an ocean around the greenery or the blue. It's calming, it's peaceful. It's no different with branding. They're subtle cues to our brain that evokes subtle feelings about the brand.
That's so true. It's
Yeah.
going back to the Riverside, like that logo for me, that artwork for me is so calm and serene, and it's so
It's
good.
That's one of my favorites for sure.
That's a good one. So talk to me in this thread, right? Talk to me about font. Talk
Um,
font to me. You
okay.
love font.
Ooh.
You love font.
I
And
do.
and
I have way too many. Um, it's funny. I think that when people make logos themselves, can I make like a PSA to everybody
yes,
right here
yes.
right now?
Make a
Okay.
PSA.
If you're feeling creative and you ignore all the advice we give you today about branding and you still decide to go in and design your own logo, do not use Papyrus. You are not creative. It is not beautiful. You will not be unique. I actually have a folder on my phone, and I'm not even kidding, of all the Papyrus font logos that I have seen around anywhere I've visited. I mean, down to in Greece. I was in Greece and found a Papyrus font logo.
Don't do it.
I want to start an Instagram account about this. Like, I'm serious. It's like, please stop using Papyrus. You are not unique.
No.
So there's just endless amount of fonts, and I feel like people default to, well, today, templates, which
Mhm.
honestly is probably better than they would do on their own, because
Mhm.
there is some strategic thinking in the template. But I can identify a template, and you want to be unique, and it is worth the added cost, in my opinion, to pay for a font. I use myfonts.com a lot. There's free fonts, even DA fonts, duh fonts.
Duh
I
font.
keep saying
Yeah.
that, but yeah, there's free fonts there to download. But I would take time in establishing your logo font so that it is not something that everybody has. And quite honestly, if they were doing that, I just think you'd be better off using like a serif font than Papyrus. Anything's better than Papyrus.
No more Papyrus. Every time you see it, I just laugh.
I
Every
should start
time.
sending them to you. It's a lot. Yeah, don't do it.
So
But and then you have to do font pairing, and that's an art in itself, quite honestly. That's not something even newbie graphic designers have under their belt. I mean, font pairing is really a learned skill, but finding fonts that are
Expand on that.
compatible.
Expand on that, right? Expand on that. So
When
font
you're doing a
pairing.
logo, or let's say any collateral material, a rack card, a brochure, I mean, even a vehicle wrap with your tagline and phone number and logo. But you're going to, a graphic designer's goal is to create a visual hierarchy of information. So we're
Oh, I
not
love
just
that.
putting, like many people would request, something in every corner, all four corners.
Fill the space, Nicole.
I should give you a
Fill
list of
the
what
space.
not to do. Not the four corners either. But
Don't make the logo any bigger, please.
yeah.
My God.
But yeah, there's a visual hierarchy, and it's established based on headlines, taglines, quotes, i- important information, pricing, etc. And when you create a brand board, you have the graphic designer has established that visual hierarchy using compatible fonts that will read well, that can skim well at a glance, that will not take away from your unique logo font that you've spent time researching and purchasing and using, not Papyrus, but yeah. So
No.
we establish a visual hierarchy so that everything is optimized. The message is optimized. That at a glance, if you only get somebody's attention within 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, they have absorbed the maximum amount of your message without subconscious visual distractions.
Oh, wow. That is a big thought.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm clipping that.
Did I just nerd out? I feel like I nerded out.
Totally. You totally did. Now, give your honest in all of that, right?
Okay.
If somebody's designing something for themselves, you have this whole idea about space is part of your design.
Yeah.
To
You've been
clear the
listening through the years. Look at you.
I I I pay attention.
Yeah,
You're
this is
really good at what you do. Yeah.
You're getting me excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
negative space is a huge part of
yes.
design. Negative space.
Say that again. Say that again so I can clip that and make it work.
Negative space is a huge contributing factor to successful design. Absolutely.
Negative space.
Negative space. I think that it's easy for us to want to place objects and fill space, but they forget that our eye, we have a lot of control of where we lead our eye in a layout. And negative space is what will direct you throughout an advertisement, a booklet, a page, a layout design, a website design. I mean, the negative space needs to be considered so that your eye hits the important information, particularly, I keep saying it, but at a glance. But we live in such a
Quick.
saturated, visual stimulus world right now. You really do often only have seconds. They're not reading your 4-paragraph bio with a coffee in their hand. They're just, they're not. They're skimming it, and then they're clicking to the next page.
Yeah.
I
For
mean,
sure.
that's the reality. And granted, they can get a lot of information on a skim, but it has to be done right. It has to be done well. And it's not just about having pretty colors and a cute icon. There's so much more. I hear people say all the time, with AI, do you fear you're going to lose your job? I mean, all I'd have to have you do is sit here with me one time. I'd give Photoshop a few AI prompts of how to correct some of the images I use in my collateral pieces. I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Because there is a human element to it.
There is a human element.
And I think when you look at AI'd images, and help me out here, but your eye interprets them as fake. Like, it feels fake.
It's harder and harder to do, though.
Yeah, yes, but wouldn't you say in graphic design you can still feel the human element? Like, there is
absolutely, yes, especially particularly in the programs I'm using and with the purposes I'm using. I'd like to see AI integrated in a way to alleviate some of the time-intensive parts of the process.
Oh, yeah.
And I think using it in that way is really beneficial to graphic designers today. But to replace the well thought out process of designing something meaningful,
Hmm.
I I just don't think that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's I've had clients particularly in the last year, really provide me, like, AI examples, like AI, and I told AI what I wanted, and this is the concept it generated, and this is what I like about it, and that can be really helpful.
Yeah. I did
Um
that. I did that with Feastmasters. I did
Yeah,
that
yeah,
with you.
actually you did. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super helpful because it's like this person, and I'm not saying for in your case, but so many people cannot articulate what they envision well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so a big part of the process with a new client is actually figuring out their communication style, what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, down
Interesting.
to like if somebody says I like modern logos. Well, is that like sci-fi? Is it
Tell
is
me
it
what
like,
that means.
I don't know, like clean lines and minimalist feel? There's so many ways to interpret a single adjective when it comes to
Mhm.
what someone has in their head associated with it. So a big part of that is discovering what they are actually trying to say about what's in their head. And AI has been really, I think, beneficial in that regard.
Mm.
Can communicate on their own till something matches what's in that head. And when they provide that as an inspiration, that's really helpful. But to replace the human element, it's definitely not the same. Not to mention your files, even if you went with those things, they need to be converted
Yes. I
for
was
art.
just
So
going to
limiting.
say.
The
Yeah.
file types are limiting, and it's just, I think, wise of a business to have their logo not just in not even in, we're talking file formats, not only in print or web formats, which is critical, but also in different orientations, vertical, horizontal, a social media icon. Like there's so many more layers that a graphic
Yeah.
designer would provide
Yeah.
than just
Definitely.
the primary logo mark.
You're so good at this, Nicole.
Huh.
Okay. So let's talk about something different. Let's switch gears here a little and talk about being a creative founder. You know, I kind of touched on it in the opening where people kind of think like, oh, founders only generate products, right? But really, you're running your own business. You have to get clients, you have to hustle, you have to do the whole thing. And how do you feel about that piece of the business versus actually being the creative and doing that work? Like, do you enjoy
Interesting.
any of the I have to get a client and putting yourself together and out there and running the back end and all of the things, invoicing, all that stuff? Or does
I
that
love
just
that
make you
question. I
crazy?
don't know that I've thought about that before. I've been working for myself, I think, for 19 years now. That went by fast. Um, but yeah, with the right clients, I still get, like we were talking about, this creative burst of energy, and the synapses start firing and I can't slow down. And that's a really great feeling every time. Like I absolutely still have many moments where I love what I do after this long. The business side of it, I chose to do this because I wanted to prioritize a family.
Hmm.
So at that time, I was very accepting of the fact that the business part of it would not be the primary goal for me.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
at that time, right? Like
Yeah.
I knew that the benefits of running my own creative agency would be the flexibility that I would have over my schedule and the time. Um, many, many years actually, I worked, I mean, through the night. If I had an infant at home and was awake, and I'd be tackling revisions, at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. because I'm already awake. I'm happy to report I don't do that anymore.
I remember those days. I
I
remember
don't do
those
that
days.
anymore. I don't think I could do that anymore, but I've hit a place now, and I think it's really important for I feel like I have to choose my words so carefully today, but it's really important for women, particularly, and maybe we're coming out of this, but you and I are of the generation that really sacrificed careers to raise families, and we might be the last generation that
Doubt
did
it.
that more commonly than not. I don't regret that I've, operated my own small business and worked for myself. However, eventually the family grows up and you find yourself in a place where you have a lot to learn. So I'm humbled at this point in my career. AI is a great example. I am taking steps to introduce myself to that technology and to bring myself up to standards in the industry that are a lot more commonly used and exercised by larger corporations or
Yeah.
younger
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. So the business side of it, does it excite me? It doesn't excite me in the same way that
Yeah.
the creative process does. No.
Yeah.
But I understand the importance of it, and
Mhm.
I'm at a place 20 years later where I'm ready to give that more of my time and attention.
Mhm.
I think that there is no value to be placed on the flexibility of running your own business and how that allows you the freedom to manage your life, whatever the priorities may be. Let's even take the motherhood part out of it.
Yeah.
But it does give you a level of freedom that, I mean, you don't won't have anywhere else. And that comes with consequences, like
Yeah.
everything else in life.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I think you and I both, that is the point that we are kind of both at, right? And where you are forced to, you have all this knowledge, you have all these skill sets, but do you have them demonstrated
yeah,
in the corporate workforce?
yeah, capacity.
Correct. So when you go and look at, your resume in words, it's like, "Oh, but that doesn't show what I know. That doesn't show what I'm really capable of." So, I
Yeah,
feel you.
yeah. I'm looking forward to the business aspect now.
Oh,
But
I love
you
that.
humble yourself and you're kind of at the beginning
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you've had a 20-year career, which feels like
Crazy.
same mind frame.
Because you and I have been hustling.
Yeah,
Hustling.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Um,
just give myself a lot of grace at this point. Like, I think that that's important if you're going to run your own business. Like, be humble enough to know you'll mess up, you'll fall short, you won't always do it the best. You have lessons to learn, but it's no different than the rest of life. Like,
yeah,
we always have things to learn, right? And we learn from,
definitely.
hopefully, you're learning from your own experiences. So, business has been no different for me.
So let's dive into this idea about the lessons, right? So for you, if you're going to give tangible advice or lessons or kind of look at your career, because you are the expert,
Thank you.
you have a really good method. Let's just specifically talk logos. You have a tried and true method that you use every single time. You are 3 proofs and a
Mm-hmm.
final.
Yeah.
I mean, we could live and die by 3 proofs and a final. And you
Yeah.
have
It works every time.
it, or it doesn't. And
Yeah.
people aren't surprised when they want you to make 1,000 more revisions, but it forces people to make decisions.
I think
Can
it
you
forces people to communicate in a raw, honest way. And that is honestly my goal. I think so many times getting into something to give someone feedback about their work, people hesitate. they're conscious of it could hurt your feelings or what if you take it
Yes.
personal. And it's I make it part of my process that I also assure clients I will not take it personal. My job is to bring your vision to life. And it's imperative that you tell me not only your likes, like flattery is easy. I want to hear what you don't like about it. And
I've
not just
watched,
about one of them, every proof. If I give you 3 and they're like, "I love number 2." Okay, well, what about number 2 don't you like? Because sometimes that feedback is where, I get the most clarity.
that's so interesting. And I've watched that process unfold. The last project we did that, we did one recently where we had a client that said she loved all of the logos that you
Oh, yeah.
provided. Yeah.
No, don't
No,
let me
no.
know.
You have to pick one. But I have worked, I've been forced to work truthfully with other designers and they don't have those guardrails. So I think that is one of those things that it makes sense to you, but it wouldn't necessarily make sense to somebody who's looking to start a process in creative design or graphic design.
Huh. I've actually never considered it. Definitely works for me. I mean, honestly, I go into every project trying to understand the client. I'm so fascinated with the brain in general.
You
Which I
totally
probably
are. You
told you.
totally are.
I just love I think it's like our brains are so underrated. And although they get a lot of attention, it's just like I want to understand the mind of the person. Like why this industry, why this business, why'd you name it that? How long have you thought about it? When you thought about it, what did you feel? Like I want to understand everything inside of them that they're pouring into this new endeavor.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
that's the
too.
part that makes
Me
me feel
too.
like I'm part of it. And I think that the creativity reflects that when somebody's willing to open up like that and share with you. It's like then you have this emotional attachment to it too. You're like, I
Yeah.
understand the vastness of how much this has consumed them. For a decade they've thought about it. They put their whole inheritance into it, or they gave up a corporate career with 6 figures to just try it. It's like I want all of that. I want to understand that, know what this means to you.
That is so funny. This is the point you're making right now because the blog I wrote this week, the article I wrote,
Is it
I
published?
say that whole thing
Oh,
about
really?
it's so hard to work for clients who aren't vulnerable.
It's vulnerability, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
a lot of people are guarded, like, they don't want you to take the vision. When somebody chooses to bring you on board, no different than I keep saying this, but again, a parallel to life. You
yeah.
choose in a relationship, if you want it to work, you better be ready to be vulnerable.
Well,
You better
yes,
you
yes,
take
yes,
people on to bring a vision to life, then you need to be ready to be vulnerable. And if you're
yes.
not, it just will not succeed.
Y-
Lesson for everybody out there.
That's hilarious because it sounds like you read the blog. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't, but I
But
will.
I say it's like being a counselor. I'm part counselor when I go in for any kind of marketing or any kind of vision. I have to like dive into all the corners to see seriously what's not working. When you say in design what doesn't work or whatever, I am looking at it from a different point of view where what's not working inside the business as, how it's
Oh,
all
yeah, yeah.
working, right?
Mhm.
But together we can often look at something and go, ooh, this and that, and this is an issue. And people, but they have to be ready to be vulnerable and trust us to tell us and let us bring those problems to light for us to be able to solve them. We're
It is
problem
a lot of
solvers.
problem solving. Yeah, I would
Yes.
agree. It's
Yeah.
problem solving. And I prefer to be on the front end of the problem solving. Like, let's build credibility now on the front end. Let's,
Yeah.
differentiate from our competitors on the front end. Let's
Yeah.
address these things and just be ahead of the game. And the more honest people can be, the more vulnerable they're willing to be. It just allows everybody to get on the same page faster.
Yes, I could not agree. Well, that is great advice for a business owner and a founder. But what would you say to somebody who is a fellow creative looking to be a graphic designer? What are some of the pieces of advice you could say for those people? Like people like yourself. Yeah.
Well, there's two things come to mind. I'm thinking of the greatest advice I was given.
I love it.
And I remember a professor in college said, your job, I mean, we've touched on this, but she said, your job is not to design, it's not your logo. You're not designing your logo when somebody comes to you. You are literally designing their logo. You have to make it theirs. And I guess I'm thinking it out loud right now, but I guess that's where it comes from when I try so hard to dig. Like, what does it mean? How long have you thought about it? What did you envision? How do you feel? Like all that digging's trying to come up with a way to visually include those elements that will connect them to the logo that's been inside their mind. And I guess
That's
I would
really good.
remind somebody just entering that, yeah, we have a great, I mean, I feel like I'm getting sappy about design right now, but we have a great responsibility when you are taking somebody's life dream. I've worked with small business owners, so a lot of them it's their long standing dream to bring these businesses to life. And it's like, well, I'm honored to be a part of that in a small way. And I take that serious. And especially for young people starting out, I would remind them that some of these people, it's cliche, but have their heart and soul in these endeavors, and to take that seriously and to let them, I mean, even graphic designers can buy vector art. I can go buy logo templates, and I see a lot of my peers do for a quick couple $100s. You can just plug a logo template. But no, I would encourage young designers to take the time to make something unique, and to try to include elements that really resonate with that individual and connect it, make it theirs. Make it theirs.
You're so
Those
good
are
at
the
that.
ones I'm most proud of.
Yeah,
Those are the logos I'm most proud of.
there's one that comes to mind as you say that. You put a heart, was it a heart? It was a heart. You put a heart in the middle of the design. It brought me to tears because it was so moving and it meant so much. It was beautiful. Yeah.
I always I tell my friends, but like the best is when I make someone cry. So it's like that. But really, like I have had clients cry, and that is the biggest compliment. It's like, oh, I got in their heart, and that means I did something right.
Well, you have definitely done a ton right for me. I mean, I have part of my logo that you designed for me tattooed on my body. So if
Oh,
that
that's the
gives
first.
it,
That's the first. I might need that for my portfolio.
it's on my thigh. I'll show you.
I think I have it, but
Yeah. It's Iggy. It's the fish. Yeah.
you should be the cover for the thumbnail of this podcast. Your thigh tat.
Just my thigh tat.
Yeah.
Oh, what can I say? All right, so we're gonna close this puppy up. You're amazing.
Okay.
But we're gonna close this puppy up, and I want you to give me very short answers here. This is how I'm gonna close all the founder episodes. So here we go.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. What's your favorite sound?
Ocean waves.
What's your favorite color?
For sure, green. Green.
What is something you love to hear about your work?
What is something I love to hear? That you brought my vision to life. This is exactly what was in my head.
What is something you never want to hear again?
Just put it in all four corners. Never again.
Never. And finally, what are you dreaming about right now?
In relation to design?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Getting old. In a beautiful way, I dream about it.
Well, you're certainly aging gracefully, I will tell you that.
I love the idea of being old and gray and active and healthy and seeing my children with gray hair and maybe finding the love of my life by then and having wrinkled hands holding each other and looking back and just being proud of uh, the path life gave me and that I was able to evolve despite the obstacles. That's what I really do dream about.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Nicole, you've been my biggest cheerleader, and I love you. And thank you so much
Thanks.
for being here and doing this and being my first founder episode. I'm just,
Grateful.
I can't believe we are actually recording. I have said this to you for, I feel like 100 years.
I'm really proud of you. I mean that. I am really proud of you.
Thanks,
Don't
man.
forget I was the first.
Never. You're going to be back. Are you
Okay,
kidding? I just thought of a million more questions for you, and I want to talk about other stuff too. So
Yeah.
onward.
I think you had an idea note in your phone from like 2012, don't you?
Yes.
Topics to discuss.
Yes.
Take that note back out.
I bet everything is in my note app.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I would love to be back, and I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Nicole. Love you.
Bye.
Catch you later. Bye. That's it for Real Talk today. This is your sign. Stop waiting, stop tweaking, get out there and start building. See you next time.